Chapter 2: The Strange Moth. The only way I can get out is by placing 3 of my favorite foods in a triangle and saying Mothy, eat 3 times, said the demon moth. Okay, so your name is Mothy, and you need my help getting out this book, but tell me, what good are you going to do for me if I was to do this spell? Said Alice, looking down at the book. I will be at your service. Anything you ask, I shall do. Consider me your partner, said Mothy. I don't know about this. Alice rubs her head and thinks for a minute. You can trust me. I will remain loyal to you till the end of time, Mothy says, friendly. Okay, let's do this, Alice said. What exactly is your favorite food, Mothy? Said Alice, curious. Fruit, dark chocolate, and ice cream, Mothy said happily. Let me see what I have in my backpack. Alice grabs her backpack, checking for food. I have a fruit cup I saved from lunch, and a piece of chocolate my mom got me, but I don't have ice cream, Mothy. Alice puts the food on the table. The spell can't be completed without the 3rd piece of food, said Mothy. I have a mini fridge in my room. Let me check that. Alice walks over to her fridge and opens it. She grabs a strawberry ice cream cup out of the fridge and places it on the table. I found strawberry ice cream. Hopefully, that'll do, Alice said, sitting back in her chair and placing the food in a triangle. Excellent. Now for this next part, say Mothy eats 3 times. But when you say it, take 2 of your fingers like a peace sign and put it by your eye, and take your other index finger and cover the exposed part. It should be a triangle with your eye in the middle. Mothy explains to Alice. Okay. Alice does the finger move. Mothy eat. Alice says very low. You gonna have to be louder than that. Mothy shouts at Alice. Mothy eat. Alice says it a bit louder. Yes, that's it. Say it crazy and insane like me. I meant yeah, insane. Mothy smiles. Alice laughs insanely. Mothy eat. Mothy laughs and smiles at Alice. Now you're getting it. Mothy smiles more. Alice's eyes get a bit wider and insane. Looking. Yes, let the insanity run down your hair like water. Mothy gets happy. Mothy eat. Alice shouts extra loud. The book began to float in the air and spin around. Alice moves back a little. Mothy laughs. A shadowy figure with wings comes out of the book. Mothy falls out of the book. Are you okay? Alice says, stepping back a little more. Mothy muscles begin to twitch a little. Mothy stretches a little. His red eyes look up at Alice. Alice panics. Mothy looks at the food. He crawls over there and eats crazy. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Alice said to Mothy, smiling a bit. Mothy continues to eat without saying a word. You're a very interesting creature, Alice says to Mothy. Interesting creature, never been called that one before. Mothy eats his ice cream. I never caught your name? Mothy turns around and licks the dripped ice cream off his arm. It's Alice. Alice tries not to look at Mothy's eyes. Why fear me, human? Mothy gets a little closer to Alice. Your hair, it's perfect, Mothy said. Oh, thanks. Alice smiled at Mothy. Glad I got your attention, Alice. Am at your service. Anything you need, but just feed me food. I can't function right without food. Mothy gets on one knee at Alice. Alice looks at Mothy on the floor. She slowly moves her hand a little closer to Mothy's head. She felt the soft fur and his hard skull like horns. Mothy looks up at Alice. Alice touches his wings. He moves his wings a little. A knock hits the door. It's me, August. Can I come in? Alice panics. Don't worry, Alice, I can camouflage. Mothy crawls to the roof and blends in with it. Yes, sure, August. Alice hides the book in her drawer. August opens the door and sees Alice laying back on her bed with a book over her face. You can make yourself look obvious at times, Alice. August laughs and cracks the door. I think Mom left you this at the door. August puts the plate on her desk and takes a seat on her bed. Listen, Alice, I'm not like Dad and I don't want to take his place, but if tier one thing he taught me was to protect you from any danger. August looks at Alice. It's okay, you don't have to answer me, I completely understand. August gets up off Alice's bed and heads to the door. He looks at Alice's desk. I'm glad you're eating something. August smiles and heads out the door. Alice sighs and takes the book off her head. Is it okay? Said Mothy. Yes. Alice looks at the roof. Mothy changes back to his original color and crawls down from the roof. Mothy, you're drooling, Alice said. I can't help it. Mothy wipes his mouth. How can I assist you with anything? Mothy said. I have a little situation at school with some bullies, Alice said, looking down. Bullies, I know how to handle that. Mothy looks at Alice. Don't worry, you won't have to worry about that again. Mothy smiles. Alice looks at Mothy. Anything it takes to get rid of them, Alice said. The next day, Alice clock goes off. Mothy breaks it. Well, looks like I got something else to fix. Alice smiles at Mothy. My God, Mothy. Alice gets out of bed. What happened to you? Alice covers her mouth. You're all white, and you have blue eyes. Alice stares at Mothy. Moth shed, that's part of my life. Mothy sits on the floor. Alice gets out of bed. She feels something silky and plasticity on her foot. She looks down and sees a big piece of shed. She jumps back in panic. Mothy, that's a big piece of shed. Alice looks at it. What you want me to do with it? Mothy looks at Alice. Actually, this can come in handy for a coat, Alice said. Alice grabs scissors and begins to cut Mothy sheds into a coat. Alice stitches it a little. All done, Alice said, holding up the coat with the stitch needle in her mouth. You're a creative human being, Mothy says. Thanks, nobody never told me that. Alice smiles at Mothy. Alice looks at her watch. OMG, I'm gonna be late for school. Alice falls out of bed. Mothy helps her. Don't worry, I'm here to help. Mothy puts Alice on her feet. Alice puts her leftovers food in her backpack. Mothy, you have to stay here, nobody can't see you, Alice said to Mothy. Alice, I have a power to not be seen, Mothy explains to Alice. What power? Invisibility. Alice looks at Mothy, curious. No, Alice, this. Mothy breathes and changes his size to a normal-sized moth. He flies on Alice's shoulder. I can also change in size. Mothy crawls on Alice's shirt. You're a very cool moth. Alice uses one finger to pat Mothy. Alice rushes down the stairs and goes in the kitchen. I need a snack. Alice grabs a peach out the fruit bowl. Alice runs to the door. Alice's mother stands right at the door. August told me everything. Why you didn't tell you was getting bullied at school.